Welcome back to lesson 3, part 2, which basically has you guys developing your legs for your Lego minifig. So hopefully by now you've created the geometry as we did in the last video, so you've got something that looks like what we have on screen here. If we have a look at our drawing, and I'll bring our drawing across onto the screen, you can see. So essentially we've created this geometry in the right side view, and we can see that basically what we need to do is we need to extrude this. So of course we're going to make this into a surface and we're going to extrude this. So how far are we going to extrude it? Well, if we have a look in our front view, we can see that the width of this is 15 millimeters. So that's going to be the first thing. So we're basically going to make a surface, extrude it into a solid 15 millimeters. So why don't we go about doing that? I'll just move that out of the way. And we will select our geometry here. And we're going to go up to surface and planar curves. Self-intersecting curves, yes, there we go. Okay, so now that I've got that, I can delete the original curve, and this is what we have. So if I go back to my 4 viewports, you all know what's going on here. Come on, shade, there we go. That's what we've got. And of course yours will have the crosses on it. Now, this is actually in... if we look in the front view, you can see that it's lined up with the green line in the front view, and that's in a good position. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select this, and I'm going to go to Solid, Extrude Surface Straight. Now you can see that I'm pulling out to one side here, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to pull this both sides. So we're going to go up, have a look in your command line, and look for both sides. And that way you can see it's coming out an equal distance on both sides here. So if I know that in total this needs to be extruded to a value of 15 millimeters, then my extrusion distance here is going to be 7.5 millimeters either side. So I'm going to type in 7.5 in my command line, and I'll designate that value there. All right, so that's the first job. You might want to go ahead and do that and then hit pause. Welcome back. All right, so now that we've got that, we can delete the surface, which we can see highlighted here. So I'm going to delete that. Now, obviously what we can see here is it doesn't quite look like his legs because there needs to be a gap in here. So let's bring in our drawing and we'll have a little look here. Okay, what have we got? Well, we can see that there is a gap in the center, and it's basically a 2 mil gap, and it's 7.84 millimeters high. So what I'm going to do in the front view, I'm going to draw a rectangle that's 7.84 high by 2 millimeters, and that's going to be in the center here. So let's just kind of see how we can do that. So move that back. So in my front view here, I'm going to draw. I'm going to start from the bottom here, right there. So you can see one unit, 2 units. So I'm going to type in 2 millimeters first. Now I've designated the width, and now I'm going to designate the height at 7.84 millimeters. Okay, now that rectangle there is going to be very, very useful to us. So let's have a look where it sits. All right, so we're going to make that into a surface. Planar curves. Okay, so now we can delete the original curve, and what we should have here is, if I just switch back to wireframe so you can see, we now have this guy, and that's a surface which essentially we're going to use. You can see where it's sitting. We're going to use that to basically do a Boolean difference and cut this through. So let's make that back into our shaded display there. With that surface highlighted, I'm going to go to Solid, Extrude Surface, and Straight, and I'm going to pull this. I'm going to pull this all the way through my objects. Just make sure it passes through the back there. Be sure to delete the original. In fact, a little tip for you. I'm just going to delete that surface there, but I generally don't like this where it's flat, basically where this block is flush here. So I'm just going to grab that in the top view. I'm just going to hold the Shift key and just nudge this forward a little bit like that. So in the top view, we can see it's sticking out the front and it's sticking out the back. Just to kind of show you what it does look like, it looks like that. So we've basically got one solid object intersecting with another solid object. So once you've got that in place, well, I'll give you some time now. Just make sure you get that in place. You can pause the video now. And welcome back. All right, so here we go. How are we going to remove some material in here? Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to use the two spheres here, but we're going to hold our left mouse button down, and we're going to find the second one across, which is a Boolean difference. So it looks like one sphere is being subtracted away from the other. Really useful tool. This is how it works. All right, so select the poly surfaces to subtract from. So in this case, it's essentially saying, what do you want to keep? So we're keeping this object here. We're going to press enter to continue, and then we're going to select the intersecting block there, and then we're going to hit enter to continue. All right, so that now is our legs all done, all modeled up. You can save this file as Lego legs, and that's another part of your build done. All right, good work. I'll see you in the next video.